So you've just finished your DP1. Congrats. I'm sure there was some point throughout your DP1 where you probably thought you weren't going to make it. So this is a big step. But now, here comes the next big step. How do you, your wife, even your dog actually get to your first posting? Don't worry, you're not left on your own. The CAF and BGRS move all of your stuff and pretty much pay for everything. I know you probably have a whole lot of questions, and if you don't, you likely will at some point throughout your DP1. I know myself, I was stressing the entire time. I had a bunch of questions and no real answers. I was young private, stressed out, asking way too many questions to my instructors, getting myself some extra push-ups and some extra PT. So I'm going to break down how this all works, how to save money along the way, housing options for your new postings, and even a few true stories in there. I'm going to explain the BGRS program, but it's not going to be a deep dive into the actual app itself. That's going to be a pretty long video, so I'm going to save that for an entirely separate video. But all right, enough talking, let's get into it. First, what is BGRS? BGRS is the company contracted by the CAF to take care of all of our relocations. Whenever you find yourself posted in your career, from your first posting to your last, BGRS are the ones paying the bills and handling your move. Flights, gas, meals, hotels, car rentals, your new license plates and IDs, even real estate fees or lawyers if you're trying to buy or sell a home. All of it is covered under BGRS. Your main job, know your entitlements. Honestly, the shittiest thing about the system is there isn't a whole lot of guidance. They send you the biggest directive you gotta read through. It's got all the guidelines, what you can and can't claim. All the information you need to know is in there, but again, they don't really walk you through it at all, so take some time before you're posting to read that yourself. I want to talk about a little trick myself and a whole lot of other CAF members use. I call it the 80% rule. Here's the thing, when you get registered with BGRS, there's already going to be an estimate calculated there for you. The estimate is a total BGRS put together based off what they think you're going to use. I'm going to be honest, they often way overshoot, so to save yourself from owing back a whole lot of money to BGRS, always request just 80% of what BGRS says you need. If you underspend, you can claim that remainder later and get it reimbursed. But if you overspend, you owe BGRS money. And you don't want to owe BGRS money, it's a pain in the ass. Emailing you constantly, emails to your chain of command, and eventually they just take that cash straight out of your paychecks. 80% in like 90% of cases is way more than enough. If you budget smart, you're still going to walk away with some extra cash in your pocket. There was a member posted from Petawawa, Ontario, all the way to Edmonton, Alberta. Remember, BGRS pays for your daily meals. But what I didn't mention is they actually pay that rate for every single one of your family members. The rate is like $100 and something per person per day, and honestly, that's just ridiculous for meals. And on top of that, the further the move, the more days you're entitled to. So anyways, this member had a wife and 3 kids. So instead of eating at restaurants every day, they packed themselves some meals, sandwiches, snacks, and ate cheap foods like Tim Hortons along the way. By the end of the trip, they'd saved up so much of their allowance, they actually used the extra money to buy a boat. That's what I mean by being smart with your entitlements. And honestly, get yourself on the phone with a BGRS agent, and the right one will probably help you along the way with that. The annoying thing with that, though, is you can't really just call them anytime. You can, but they may not really help you with your question. They expect you to book planning sessions, and sometimes it can be a little bit annoying doing that. They can be booked up, you can be busy with course, and you also have a time limit. I'm going to get into what's covered, what needs receipts, and what doesn't in a moment. But first, I'll tell you my first posting story because it was a complicated one and super relevant to this topic. My first posting was in Gagetown, New Brunswick, which happened to be where I did my DP1. At the time, I had a girlfriend and a dog back home in Newfoundland. And just like I said at the beginning of the video, I spent most of the course stressing out on how I was going to get them there. My biggest fear being brand new to the military, and especially being posted where I was finishing my course, was that I was going to finish course and be expected to show up to my posting right away. Well, it did happen that way, but on day 1, they sorted out my leave, and BGRS had already booked me a return to assist trip. Meals, gas, my hotel, even my ferry ticket, all paid for. When I got to Newfoundland, I was on the ILM&M entitlement. That's the interim lodgings, meals, and miscellaneous. This gave me 5 days of entitlements covered for me and my spouse. We were already in Newfoundland, so we stayed with family, so no hotels were needed. But BGRS still gives you $50 a day just to stay in someone else's house. Once these 5 days were up, we packed up the car and made our way to New Brunswick. This now initiated our travel to new location trip. All these trips I'm mentioning are trips you're entitled to as well. Like I said, I'll do a separate video deep diving more into those, but for now, just know you're covered. On my travel to new location trips, I got the same entitlements on the way there. Now it just included my spouse. When we arrived in Gagetown, our household goods hadn't shown up yet. So we were an empty house. No problem, you can go back on ILM&M. Again, they'll pay for meals and your accommodations until the movers finally deliver everything and you're sorted into your new home. If you have a rental back home, they'll cover you breaking the lease by paying your last month. So no worries on that end either. Alright, what's covered and what needs receipts? Meals, you get a daily allowance per family member and no receipts are required at all. So like I said, claim that, that's a whole lot of cash in your pocket. Anything labeled incidentals, same deal, no receipts. Hotels, flights, car rentals, and gas, fully covered, but you do need to keep those receipts. Your license plates and new IDs, again, covered, but you need to keep the receipts. And then of course, if you're buying or selling a home. BGRS will cover the legal fees, realtor fees, and connect you with professional help. But of course, you have to keep all of those receipts and documents. Your safest bet, save everything. A shoebox full of receipts could be thousands in your pocket. Housing options. Once you arrive at your posting, you've got a few options for housing. If you're single, I recommend honestly staying in shacks. They're single quarters, on base, they're cheap, and you can eat at the mess hall so you don't have to make your own meals. You can apply for a PMQ. If you have a family, I highly recommend doing this right away. It's affordable military housing on base. You can get row houses, duplexes, standalone A-frames, and it's a lot more similar to a private family home. Off-base housing. You can always live off the economy. Depending on your rank and where you're posted, you may be entitled for some extra pay to help you with your cost of living. Honestly, with the new CAF pay raise coming in, I'm not sure how that's going to shift. Bottom line, the CAF will keep your cost of living manageable. Let's talk about the house hunting trip. If housing isn't lined up before you leave, don't panic. BGRS will send you on a house hunting trip. You get, I think, 7 fully paid days. Again, flights, meals, hotels, and a car rental. They'll connect you with a local agent that sets up viewings before you arrive, and your spouse can come too, even if they're flying from a completely different location. It's all covered. Once you arrive to your posting and you're all settled in, part of your in-clearance paperwork is generally your posting allowance. It's a nice perk from the CAF to help offset some of the moving expenses. Use it for groceries, furniture, whatever. This goes directly into your bank account with one of your paychecks. No receipts required, it's all yours. Right now, if you're someone who's single, you'll receive an extra half month's pay on one of your paychecks. So pretty much, you're going to get a double paycheck on one of your paychecks. If you have a spouse or dependent, you're going to get a full extra month's pay. So pretty much, you're going to get double paid that entire month. This posting allowance is changing, and honestly, the amounts are insane. I talked about that in my CAF pay raise video, so if you want to learn more about that, you're going to have to check out that video. So here's the bottom line. After DP1, you don't have to stress about moving. BGRS pays for and handles pretty much everything. Use the 80% rule, keep your receipts, and live frugally. You can move your entire family across the country, and in some cases, like the guy from Petawawa, bank a whole bunch of cash and buy yourself a nice boat. Once you arrive, your housing options, PLD, posting allowance will all be waiting for you. The system is built to set you up for success. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's all sunshine and rainbows on your postings. Like I said, the BGRS system can be a little tricky, but that's why I'm making these videos, to hopefully make your guys' lives a little bit easier. Before I take off, guys, don't forget, check out the links in my bio and the links in my description. We've got our BMQ packing list on the Amazon storefront, BMQ fitness prep and military lifestyle fitness guides, and now, just recently released, some Duty to Dumbbells, First Action Fitness, and Canadian Veteran merch. This is live now and 25% off for the next 2 weeks. Go ahead, hit those links, and like I've said in all of my other videos, a portion of everything made on this channel is going to be donated directly towards veteran support organizations. So you can gear up, prepare yourselves for the CAF, and give back to the ones who deserve it the most. So check out those links in the description of this video and in my bio. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment what else you'd like to see. I love hearing your ideas, and I do actually read them and take them seriously. For example, this video was requested to me just a few days ago. So go ahead, drop it in the comments. I appreciate all of you guys tagging along, and like always, catch you in the next one.